when did you make it worth his while? When did you start doing well in World of Outlaw? You beat Kimser at one point, didn't you?
Yeah, I beat Kinzer a few times.
Yeah.
He's definitely been on the better side of that than I have been on him.
Yeah. So now, like, at what point did you win your first race, though? Was it 2006?
No, I won. I think I might have won a race, maybe even in '93, my first year. Definitely in '94.
Okay, so you did have some success.
Well, so yeah, we had success,
but did
racing.
not consistent success.
We had success racing weekly at Fargo and here and there, from time to time. But when you think of sprint car racing and you want to do this professionally and for a living,
yeah.
If you don't look at World of Outlaws, you're just shitting yourself. You're kidding yourself. There's nothing else you can go do at this level, and because that's where Steve did it, and that's where Sammy Swindell did it, and Doug Wolfgang, and everybody, Dave Blaney, Mark Kinzer, all them names got to be that way because of racing with the World of Outlaws, not because they went to Red River Valley Speedway on a Friday night in July, and this place here. That's what that series. Ted Johnson built a series that it made those guys. They were personalities. They were names. They were the Hulk Hogans of the WWF Wrestling Federation.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
That's why everywhere you went, everybody knew that name. And you, back then, it was you wanted to try to be in that clique. You wanted to be in that group. And the guy that run it, he'd treat you like, well, I hope you get to be good enough someday to where you can do it. And you know what? It was a challenge. Like, he'd tell you, don't come out here and waste my time. So get yourself good and then come. He pushed you.
So when did you make it worth his while? When did you start doing well in World of Outlaw? You beat Kimser at one point, didn't you?
Yeah, I beat Kinzer a few times. Yeah. He's definitely been on the better side of that than I have been on him.
Yeah.
So we raced for 93, 94, 95, pretty hard in 94 and 95 around home, and traveled a bit and did 410 races in Knoxville and all these different places. Well, then we had this guy working for us named Todd Seitz, and he wanted to go to the Kings Royal in 96, the year before I decided to race with the World of Outlaws full time. And yeah, we all had dreams of going, but the reality of doing that is just, it's insane. And we decided to go race for a couple weeks with the Outlaws leading up to the Kings Royal. And I went to the Kings Royal in 96, and I made the show. And I run 8th. I run top 10 at the Kings Royal, one of the biggest races of the year in 1996. So it was for us, and it paid like, I don't know, was it like $5,000 or something for 8th place at the Kings Royal back then? We thought, man, this is the way it's going to be every night. We can do this. We can make money doing this. So I think that was really the icing on the cake to say to my parents, to me, that we were going to try to take the next step and put it all together to be able to get out on the road with the Outlaws, because that's a pretty big feat. There's people that don't ever run top 10 at the Kings Royal in their life, let alone when they're that young and that inexperienced with racing with that group of guys.
And what does it take? What does it take to finish 8th in a race like that? Is it adjusting everything in the car?
I didn't know back then. The format at the Kings Royal is a little different. I think it had its advantages for someone like me, because I wasn't going to qualify as good. I didn't know how to qualify. We weren't really motor-wise. But then when it come to racing, when the track slowed down a little bit, we started on the front of our heat, and we made it through our heat and made the show, and just made the best of it. Then I used to think that everything was all about car setup. I thought it was all, you had to have the right car and the right motors, and it was like flavor of the day.
Right.
And that's the way I think every young kid is. They if something's better, they think they want it. That's really how I was until I raced with Kenny Woodruff, and he taught me. He'd say, "Bud, I don't know if you know this or not, but when you get on the track, we can't do nothing for you. So you either figure it out, or if you have a problem, pull in.
Yeah.
Someone else will go drive it."
Like, so, what do you have? Can you just explain to me quickly what you do have in control in the car? You have control of the wing. You have control of the steering wheel.
Yep.
What else?
Gas and the brake, that's it.
That's it.
Back then, you could have adjustable shocks. but that's something that a driver doesn't need to be thinking about when he's racing is adjusting shocks. And the wing only does so much. It's basically just when the fuel load burns off. So there's not a lot of adjustments, but you do learn over time that you can adjust your driving style dramatically. Can do different things with the gas and the brake. You can, can sling the car around, open the wing board up. There's all these things, these tricks that you learn over the course of 20 years, and you just figure out how to do them, and it really helps you.
And you learn? Do you learn most of those techniques through mistakes?
Absolutely. Almost everything that happens in this sport is learned through making mistakes.
And mistakes in this sport can hurt you.
Anything can hurt you.
No.
Anything can hurt you.
Yeah, but like this, you can get physically hurt with them. Like anybody, we all learn in life through mistakes. But this kind of learning, there's a different kind of risk involved. And are you being cavalier about that because
you can get hurt or killed in these things.
Yeah.
And you don't have to make mistakes. It doesn't have to be your fault. It doesn't have to be anything you did. We've seen that over time, and I think there was some of that probably happened at just the right time for me. That was an eye opener. I was there the night that Kevin Gobrecht got killed at I-80 in Lincoln, Nebraska, and I remember it like it was yesterday. I was terrible that night in the feature, and we kept having these open reds for people crashing, and every time we'd have an open red, my dad was coming out telling me, you need to do this, try that, and I couldn't make anything work. And every time we had one of these reds, he was getting more frustrated. And when we had that last open red for Kevin, I was just waiting for it. I was waiting for him to say something that was going to send me over the top. And when he came, he's like, he didn't have nothing to say.
Oh, man.
He didn't have anything to say because he knew, we all knew.
Right.
And it kind of changes the whole dynamic of it. But that's the nature of the beast. It's what we choose to do. No one forces us to do it. And when you love something, I guess you'd rather take that risk than not.